everybody, my name is Hannah and this is my assessment project. So in this short presentation, I'm going to walk you through two essential informal reading assessments, those being the SDQA, also known as the San Diego Quick Assessment, which evaluates reading levels through word recognition, as well as the ERAS, also known as the Elementary Reading Attitude Survey, which assesses students' attitudes towards reading. So let's go ahead and dive in. So our SDQA is an informal diagnostic word recognition assessment, and it determines students' grade level reading proficiencies, and it's usually categorized as screening and placement, while the ERAS is an informal attitudinal inventory, which assesses students' attitudes about reading in two domains, and it is affective domain assessment. Both of these assessments are informal. They won't be graded, but they are extremely helpful in guided instructions. So one focuses on skill, while the other focuses more on mindset. So the SDQA is mainly used to estimate a student's instructional and independent reading levels based on word recognition only, not comprehension. This is really helpful for creating guided reading groups, identifying reading intervention needs, and really pinpointing those frustration levels. And you usually see this in grades K through 8, but it can be adapted for high school or ESL learners if need be. Now, the ERAS is mainly used to measure student attitudes towards reading in two different areas, these being academic reading, which would be your textbooks and class assignments, and your recreational reading, which is just reading for fun. So this is really helpful for understanding reading motivation, planning book clubs or reading incentives, and then tailoring the classroom library selection. And you'd see this with grades 1 through 6, but again, it can be adaptable. And together, these two tools give you a complete picture of what students can do and how they feel about doing it. And for the SDQA, you're going to usually give that at the beginning of the year for placement or mid-year for progress monitoring, and then usually before any RTI or IEP meetings. And it's done on a one-on-one setting using a printed word list from pre-primer to 11th grade, and then these students read each 10-word list aloud, with the teacher marking any errors and stopping the student if they miss 3 or more words in one list. The scores determine independent, instructional, or frustrational reading levels. And as for the ERAS, it's usually given at the beginning and end of the year, before after major reading inventory or interventions, as a self-reflection tool after reading units. And as for how, it's the whole class or it can be one-on-one. And it's about 20 multiple choice questions with a pictorial Likert scale with 4 expressions, ranging from super happy, confident, to not so happy, not so confident. And these scores are totaled separately for both academic and recreational reading. So the SDQA is quick and diagnostic, while ERAS is reflective and provides insight into students' emotions towards reading. 3 notes for the SDQA, no context clues, it's purely for recognition. Needed materials, you're going to need that word list, a clipboard, pencil, a scoring sheet, and it's fast and flexible, so it's about 10 minutes per student, so you can get through a couple pretty fast. And then for the ERAS, it engages students using facial expressions with that Likert scale, this is especially helpful for those younger or ESL students. The 2 subscales give specific insight into where attitudes differ academically and recreationally, and then the results guide motivational strategies like book choice, read alouds, and classroom environments. This would be an example of the SDQA. Here's a sample sheet, and some words that might be for 2nd grade would be pretty, school, morning, behind, carry, etc. And what you would do is check off the correct, X the incorrect, and if there are 3 or more errors, you're going to move down a level. As for the ERAS, here is what it would look like. An academic question you may ask is, how do you feel when you read a book in school during reading time? And recreational would be, how do you feel about going to the library? A visual scale would be very happy, which would be 4 points, ranging all the way down to very upset, 1 point. And each of these signaling how high their attitude is when reading. So uh, they are both quick, simple, and meaningful assessments that could be really useful in the classroom. And last but not least, here are my sources. These help shape the presentation, and feel free to access them for your own classroom. Thank you.